Welcome to Australia. Australia is the sixth largest country, measuring 7,692,24 kilometers, and is slightly smaller than the United States. Australia makes up most of its continent and is surrounded by water, and is often referred to as an island continent. Today we will examine the pestle model: political, economic, social, cultural, technological, environmental, and legal components of Australia. Political. Australia is a constitutional monarchy, unlike the United States, who operates as a republic political system. Australia's bicameral system is divided between the Commonwealth and state and territory governments. The head of government is the Prime Minister, and the head of state is the Governor General, chosen by the Prime Minister. Australia and the United States have a lot of similarities in their political system. Like they both have federal systems, both have parliaments composed of two houses, the Senate and the House of Representatives, and a constitution that delegates power to the federal government. Australia and the United States of America political status is free, with a freedom rating of 1. Australia has seen an increase in its political stability, while the United States' stability has remained constant. Corruption is not an obstacle to business in Australia, which is known for its well-functioning and independent judiciary, transparent regulatory climate, and overall low levels of corruption. The Attorney General, as commentators disagree on what is an abuse of the political system.
The Rule of Law Index has an indicator of negative 2.5 being weak to positive 2.5 being strong. The United States is calculated in this graph from 2010 to 2015, along with Australia. The United States has been pretty steady from 2010, starting off with the rule of law of 1.63 to 2015 with the rule of law of 1.6. Australia has been pretty steady as well from 2010 to 2013 at around 1.76, but had a spike in 2014 to 1.93. Then it went down a little to about 1.82. Australia has a slight higher rule of law consistently over the years compared to the United States. The next graph is GNI per capita at PPP. The United States has consistently been higher than Australia from 2000, starting in year 2000 at 36,930 to 2015 at 56,430. While Australia has also been steady in growth, starting in 2010 at 25,610 to 2015, ending in 2015 at 44,570. Now, there was a slight decline in 2010 for Australia and also for the United States in 2009. Both have since had a steady incline, with the USA having a higher GNI per capita at PPP. The next graph is economic freedom. The United States in 1995 and 1996 was at an all-time high of a 90 index, with Australia at a 70. The USA dropped drastically in 1997 to 78 and has been consistently averaging at about 75 index ever since, while Australia has been continuing to increase at an average of 85, which making Australia more economically free than the US.
Australia is one of the world's largest destinations for foreign direct investing. With their skilled workforce, political stability, and resilient economy, it makes them a prime candidate for any business. In 2015, foreign investors contributed over $115 billion into the Australian economy. The graph shown below shows how the levels of inbound FDI and outbound FDI have increased significantly since 2001 and will continue to rise. The United States, Singapore, the United Kingdom, and Belgium are the top sources of FDI coming into Australia. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, the top industries in Australia that attract foreign investors are mining, service industries, manufacturing, finance, and insurance. Australia has a global advantage in their location, being able to trade with several different countries. Australia's top imports in 2015 were passenger motor vehicles, refined petroleum, telecom equipment and parts, crude petroleum, and computers. And their major exports in 2015 were iron ores and concentrates, coal, natural gas, gold, and beef. The top countries that Australia primarily trades with are China, Japan, United States, Korea, and Singapore. Australia imported more than $318 billion and exported nearly $329 billion. Australia's rich culture and history have shaped the diversity of their citizens, cultures, and their way of life. Australia is one of the most diverse and modern societies in the world. Australia is ranked 18th, ahead of Canada, for the most immigrants per capita. Please watch the short video to get a closer look at the rich diversity of Australia.
Hi, I'm Luke Jacobs with a Z, and I'm here to address concerns that too many perky white males are contributing to a lack of diversity on our screens.
We couldn't agree more. Hey, Sakura. Hey, Mustafa. So we're getting together over the ultimate cross-cultural protein to help put this right. We've got everyone in the room.
Well, technically, it's not a room.
Hey, let's not be spacists. Exactly. Hey, Dad. Shh. Sorry. We've got all the stands. We've got Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and this guy. Stan. People of color? I mean, who isn't? Oh, we've got our white whites, translucent whites, beige whites, red whites, and our dark whites who are darker than the light dark guys.
It's a thing.
All religions, faiths, and beliefs.
Can I talk to you about Jesus?
Yeah, sure.
He's not going to footy.
It's Jesus.
Jesus. Ooh, thank you. Oh, and of course, Jordan's here. She's Greek.
And proud.
Do you know what the best thing is about diversity? Everything. So let's stop talking about it and get together over the meat that doesn't discriminate. Right. Lamb's ready. So, who was here first?
That'll be us.
Right, you are.
Australia is home to many top universities that continue to produce world-class graduates. Australia was the 5th most popular destination for international students. Their primary and elementary schools are also exemplary with their high teacher-to-student ratio at 5 students per teacher, where it is 14 students per teacher in other educational systems in the OECD. This map shows that a majority of the population consider themselves non-religious, and many of the religions found in Australia are concentrated into several regions. The main religion found in Australia is Christianity, followed by Catholicism, traditional Aborigines, and the United Church.
Australia scores nearly identical to the United States in all of the cultural dimensions except for internal versus external control, where Australia scores much lower. A country more focused on internal control, such as Australia, allows people to develop their skills and take control of their learning, sets clear objectives that people agree with, and is open about conflict and disagreement, allowing people to engage in constructive conflict. The 6 Australian states are former British colonies that joined together in 1901 to form a nation. At the time that the nation was forming, their legal system was developed. The system was largely based on the British legal system. As a consequence, Australia mirrored a number of elements from the British legal system, including the parliamentary system and the adversarial court system. An adversarial court system involves trial by jury and the principle of innocent until proven guilty. The foundation of their legal system is the Australian Constitution. The Constitution was developed by the people of Australia who voted for its implementation, and it sets out the original laws of the nation. These laws can only be changed by referendum. There are two other types of law in Australia, which are statutory law and common law. The Australian court system is hierarchical, and the High Court of Australia is the highest court in the country. The High Court of Australia deals with matters related to the Constitution and appeals from lower federal or state courts. Between 1 and 7 justices can sit on a case at the High Court, depending on the significance of the case. If more than one justice sits, the court is referred to as the full court of the High Court. The Federal Court of Australia has an appellate division and 2 divisions with original jurisdiction, which is the ability to hear cases in the first instance. The appellate division hears appeals from the divisions of the court with original jurisdiction and some appeals from state and territory courts where federal jurisdiction has been exercised. Cases in the appellate division of the federal court are heard by 3 judges. The 2 divisions of original jurisdiction in the federal court are the General Division, which primarily deals with bankruptcy and taxation cases, and the Industrial Division, which deals with federal industrial relations issues. The Family Court of Australia deals with divorce, child and spouse maintenance, and child custody cases. Many family court matters are settled through counseling and mediation services offered by the court. The full court of the Family Court deals with appeals, and 3 judges sit on the full court. Australia is one of the wealthiest in the world, with one of the world's strongest economies. The strengths of Australia are: Australia has a very strong and resilient economy. Australia is also said to have a strong economic policy, where important policy shifts from the mid-1980s to the turn of the century. Australia shows a strong emphasis on reforms, low inflation, a housing market boom, and growing ties with China. Labor market reform results in low unemployment. Like any country, Australia has its weaknesses. Certain changes have been seen in duty rates, and mixed tariffs increase unpredictably. There are high tariffs in the automotive industry, and tariff rate quotas on agricultural products limit opportunities. There are many opportunities for improvement in Australia's economy. Australia is close to Asia, which encourages growth in aviation capacity. The Australian dollar is also likely to grow the economic value of tourism. The biggest economy threat for Australia, however, is China. The commodity boom has shown a sharp increase in demand, but there is a supply constraint in Australia. There is intensifying competition for the tourist dollar, and property prices are failing. Overall, Australia is doing well. They have largely avoided the global economic slowdown, inflation is low, and the economy is growing.